Thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Fred Northup Jr., and I have been with many of you in person for many years at Jasiri, and so I'm honored to be back here with you. And even though I'm here in my living room and you're somewhere around the world, we're still together right now, and that's what matters. By being here, you are helping to challenge despair, to love boldly, and to create a future of sustainable prosperity and health. You are helping to reduce the burden of malaria where it falls heaviest on the most vulnerable among us. You are bringing community health workers to relieve the burden of infectious disease and decongest crowded health facilities in the middle of a pandemic. You are bringing expanded academic offerings and hands-on project-based learning to the rural Ugandan classroom at Beacon of Hope. And you are breaking the cycle of poverty by supporting the people in Uganda who make this change happen. So let's do this. Over the next hour, you'll be hearing incredible stories and meeting amazing pilgrims from all over the world. You'll hear from a number of our incredible board members and about Beacon of Hope, our malaria project. And you will have an opportunity to raise your virtual paddle and change lives with us. How do you do that? Well, you need to log into Greater Giving. That is where you bid and donate. And here's what we recommend. If possible, watch this program on a bigger screen, like a laptop, then grab a second device and go to jasiri2020.ggo.bid. If you're there for the first time, just click the word Start or Start Bidding up at the top of your screen and get set up to bid and donate. We've got some great auction items up for grabs. Are you feeling like planning a trip for the future? There's a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Uganda, where you can actually visit Beacon of Hope School or our malaria project sites and see the work that is being done on the ground. There are 2 trips to visit Uruguay. One, a dove hunting trip where you will stay at a 5-star lodge with a gourmet chef, and the other where you'll go fishing and catch the golden dorado fish up to 40 pounds. If you're an angler or a wannabe angler, this is a dream trip. All of these trips have a long lifetime, and if you prefer a gift that doesn't involve airplanes, no problem. We have a one-of-a-kind amber necklace, and the amber is fished out of the sea off the Lithuanian coast. There are also several cruises where you can get away from it all, an incredible Southwest Florida getaway house, and more on our website, so check it out. Now, if you want to focus on our program, just click Bid More on any item, set a max bid, and your device will automatically bid for you each time you're outbid all the way to your max bid. Let's start our program with a prayer from Bishop Wilson, one of the original team of Pilgrims in Uganda.
My name's Pastor Wilson Apia, and I'm a board member and a co-founder of Pilgrim. I would like to give a prayer for this event. Father, in the name of Jesus, I want to thank you, my Father, for this event, and I want to pray and commit this event into your hands. I pray that, Lord God, may you have preeminence in this event, of God. I pray for every person, all those that are going to come, ladies and gentlemen, men and women that are going to come for this event. We want to pray that, Lord, you will touch their hearts to help, oh God. We want to thank you. May this event bring you glory. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Wilson. We will hear now from 2 board members in Uganda who are both hosting virtual tables this year. Robert Wannock and Dr. Ben Kingi, Pilgrim Africa's Vice President. After them, we'll hear from Pilgrim Africa's CEO, Dorothy Achodu, with a brief update on this year and Pilgrim Africa's new Executive Director.
Hello, my name is Robert Wannock, and I sit with the board at Pilgrim Africa, and I am the treasurer. I have been involved with Pilgrim since 2008, and actively from about 2012 on the board. So Jasiri 2020, the word Jasiri in Swahili actually means bold and courageous, is an event that is bent at bringing together stakeholders from both the United States and in Uganda. Jasiri basically allows us the opportunity to get in touch with our givers, you, our donors, and all the other parts and elements of our stakeholders that come together to make Pilgrim who we are. And in this particular event, we look forward to having both our stakeholders in the United States and here through the championing of the Vice President.
I am Ben Kingi. I'm a consultant surgeon at Mulago Hospital. I do general, reconstructive and burn surgery in Mulago. Pilgrim Africa is a Christian-based NGO that I have a privilege to serve as a board chair in the country. Doing a lot of work as Pilgrim in community health projects like malaria prevention, health education, and the formal education system. Pilgrim rose out of a need in Soroti sub-region. There were children who needed to be reintegrated after the abduction. And Pilgrim saw the opportunity to rehabilitate these children. It set up a primary school in which they were specifically supported emotionally and psychosocially to be able to get back to school, formal school again. Jasiri is an annual event that's taken place for the last couple of years in which many people are brought together. They are interested in what their roles could be in what Pilgrim does. And this particular year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, what we are going to do is to do our Jasiri in a remote way.
Good evening and good morning. My name is Dorothea Chodu, and I'm the CEO of Pilgrim Africa. Thank you very much for being with us. You've just heard from a few of our board members, and you will hear from some of our former students, folks affected by malaria, scientists, and our founder. I hope you enjoy meeting this wider Pilgrim community that God has blessed us with. This has been a very unusual year for all of us. Like many students in the U.S., our students at Beacon of Hope Secondary School in Soroti were sent home in mid-March after just a month of school. COVID has also impacted every aspect of our malaria operations. Mosquitoes, unfortunately, don't social distance, but timely treatment is very difficult when transport is banned and facilities are crowded. Today, Uganda is in the middle of its first wave of coronavirus, and we are really feeling the impact. A member of our malaria project and a dear family friend, Dr. Lois Okedi, recently died from COVID. She was a champion in the malaria fight, a new and enthusiastic Rotarian, and a PhD entomologist who taught at the local Soroti University. Her loss was enormous, and we are reeling. But in all of this, we have chosen not to shrink or pull back. As you'll hear in a moment from our former student Rebecca Malinga, her time in her community, in her village, has actually deepened her desire to pay it forward. We share that passion. We choose to believe that God will give us the strength to help our neighbors right now when they need that help the most. Thanks to help from some of you here, we were able to supply PPE to our community health workers more rapidly than any other organization in Uganda. And this means that right now, folks in our community can be tested and treated safely without going to overcrowded health centers. We've done a deep dive into systems and processes across the org and have found ways to realize even greater efficiencies. I want to give a very special thank you tonight to the Church of Redeemer in Boston for a transformational gift to Beacon that will allow us to broaden our academic offerings. Our staff, teachers, investigators, and field experts deliver best-in-class practices in collaboration with government experts, global institutions, and partners all over the world. But we can't do this work without you. These are the most troubling, challenging, high-risk times for the vulnerable communities that we serve. There is no extensive social safety net for these communities. They depend on family and friends. Thank you for believing that the children we educate are worth it and that these communities can be malaria-free. I hope you enjoy this evening. And now I'd love you to meet the newest member of our team, John Berman. John?
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. My name is John Berman, and I am the Executive Director with Pilgrim Africa. I'm speaking to you tonight from Washington, D.C., where I'm based. I'm here in Washington to assure that Pilgrim Africa has a seat at the table with key private donors as well as important U.S. government agencies. My prior work in international development, both with nonprofit organizations and consulting firms, has involved long-term assignments in Senegal, Guinea, Kenya, and Bangladesh, as well as short-term assignments across sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Pilgrim Africa now has my attention focused on the plight of children and their families in the Great Lakes region of Africa. Pilgrim Africa is an indigenous, faith-based organization with extensive expertise in malaria control, health, and education. We intend to expand our leadership in these areas and increase our impact on the quality of life of the populations we are so deeply committed to. We will work in close collaboration with organizations that share our goals. It is a blessing to be with Pilgrim Africa, and I look forward to meeting you in person when travel restrictions have been lifted. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Before we move forward and hear from a student at Beacon of Hope, I want to thank Pilgrim Africa's board members who have gone above and beyond this year. They've been meeting remotely across continents every single week since March, so please give them a big virtual hand. I'd also like to thank some very special sponsors this evening, as well as our partners and table hosts who have made this event possible. Special thanks to Church of the Redeemer, the Christine Allen family, Stella Joe, Untamed, Creative Empowerment, Eric and Lynn Lynn, Dorothy and Calvin Achodu, and Charles Dickey. Table hosts and partners, thank you all so much. So now we have something special. Those of you who have attended Jasiri in the past, you might remember a student named Rebecca Malinga. We're going to see a video of her a few years ago that we call her anthem. And then we're going to go to her village and hear from Rebecca today.
I am Malaria Rebecca, a 15-year-old student of Beacon of Hope College in Senior 2, a girl child citizen of Uganda. I have written this to testify about malaria in our village. Malaria is known as a killer disease, and as I know, malaria has killed many children and adults in our home. Right now, we have no peace of living a healthy life in our village. It has destroyed many lives of the future, whereby in villages there is no way of preventing and treating it in Katakwi. There are no mosquito nets, and the ones there are not treated and are very few. Even when they try to plead to the government for help, it delays to reach these remote areas and they can't afford paying clinics. Then they remain helpless and in sorrow. I also have a sister who has been disturbed by this disease for many years since her childhood up to now. But however much my parents have tried treating her, she doesn't get well completely. Sometimes she doesn't attend classes because of this malaria problem. All I pray for is to see one day malaria ended in my village because it has destroyed many future dreams. I am studying in Beacon of Hope, but my dream career is to be a doctor who will give a hand in the prevention and treatment of malaria so as we have peace and health. Personally, I imagine our country without malaria, how it would be peaceful, wonderful. People will be healthy. Lives of young children shall have peace, and they shall be able to go to school and study for the future. Their dreams shall be able to come true, and they shall have smiles on their faces. There will be no more suffering, misery, worry, poverty, hunger, sorrow, and death, but only shall be happiness, smiling, harmony, and rejoicing, together praising the Almighty as one. Then the future dreams of the young stars, adults, and the old people shall shine brightly. Let's join our hands and fight malaria. To God be the glory. My name is Rebecca, and I'm 19 years old. Malaria has been a very big challenge. It has not been selective. It has affected all, even me here at home. Let me say, like last week, I got sick of malaria. I had to go to the health center, and then they made some checkup, and they gave me some tabs to swallow. I was just seated because I couldn't do anything. When one of us falls sick in a family like that, the rest go to work, but now the person who has fallen 6 days back, it becomes hard to get those finances for taking the person for treatment and even just check up, buying drugs. All that becomes a challenge. But now Pilgrim came in as a helping hand. With the nets it brought, and then the spraying, it helped to prevent this malaria, because at least it has reduced a bit when it comes to the side of the mosquitoes. I'm able to sit in class and study because I'm free from malaria. Before Pilgrim, after my primary 7, my life was so hard. I didn't know that I would even at one point join the secondary level. The first thing it gave me is education, which is not something so easy. If you have no help, there's no way you can join any school. After my primary 7, I just came back in the village here. That's why I was living with my parents. And so I couldn't see any hope. Because here, the girls who finish primary 7, mostly they get married because there's no way forward for the secondary level. Pilgrim started sponsoring me from my senior 1 until now, when I'm now in my senior 6 class. I no longer think like the way I used to before I joined in a secondary school. They teach us how to reason and open our minds. I want to do law. When I become a lawyer, I would like to come back and work with my community so that they are also brought up. I want to come back and work with the young girls here that are being wasted in marriage instead of going for education. I want to extend my gratefulness to Pilgrim as an organization, because I cannot just explain where they brought me from and where I am right now, but I'm so grateful. May God bless the works of their hands. Thank you.
Isn't she something? She's been home from school almost a year, and it has only increased her desire to help other young women in her community. Her desire to give back and to be a part of something that is bigger than herself. I mean, that's why we are all here today too. You can help people just like our friend Rebecca. And you might not meet everyone whose life you'll change, but you can see that they will remember your generosity for the rest of their life. If you can donate $10,000, please do. A huge thanks to Christine Allen for her transformational gift of $10,000. Ms. Allen, thank you for your dedication to Beacon of Hope. Thank you also to Steve and Letitia Mead for your generosity. We're so grateful. If you can change lives with us at $10,000 or $5,000, please do. $2,500 or $1,000. Whether you're giving at $25 or $25,000, we appreciate your generosity. This is about a community coming together. And our hope is that everyone watching will join us with a gift that's meaningful to you. Now, while you give, let's hear from a few of our supporters.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie Dickey. Dorothy and I met through Rotary and are fast friends. Like other friends of hers, we get a twofer. We get a second equally friendly friend, Pilgrim Africa. I visited Soroti twice, and at the Beacon of Hope School, I even had a chance to teach a memorable lesson in American history. With Beacon's graduates on the move in Uganda, I'm confident that the country's future is better than bright.
My name is Katie Hurd, and I've been involved with Pilgrim for the last 15 years or so, and I'm currently on the Pilgrim board. From its beginning, Pilgrim's founders have grabbed a hold of the mandate to love our neighbors as ourselves and have taken that mandate seriously and literally. Pilgrim has taught me that though I live in Western Washington, I have neighbors in Uganda. I've learned through Pilgrim that I need those neighbors, their wisdom, their faith, their perspective, and it's through the mutual love and respect of neighbors, even across continents, that sicknesses are healed, that hopes are restored, that communities are built, all to the glory of God.
Now we will get a chance to hear from Pilgrim Africa's board chair, Gray Franson, who is joining us from the United Kingdom, and from Calvin Achodu, Pilgrim's founder. After them, we'll get to hear from another alum from Beacon, Dinesh Alecki. The first video we'll see of Dinesh takes us way back to Pilgrim's beginnings when Beacon of Hope was founded to rehabilitate youth abducted by the Lord's Resistance Army. Both Dinesh and Moses have come to past Jasiris in person. Dinesh was fortunate several years ago to meet supporters from the King School community who made it possible for him to study software engineering in the United States. He is now at Washington State University, and he's involved in student government. We'll hear what he dreams of today.
My name is Gray Franson, and I am the chair of Pilgrim Africa's board of directors. We are thrilled you're here with us tonight, and especially during these difficult times. My day job is serving as the chief executive officer of a company called Oxitec, which is a UK-based company developing biotechnologies to combat malaria, dengue, and other vector-borne diseases. Our shared vision is to continue to challenge despair, to love boldly, and to create a future of sustainable prosperity and wealth. We have developed our approach to combating malaria, starting with this simple question, and that is, what does it take to solve this challenge? And by embracing a culture of compassion, of love, and of innovation, we're making great strides, and we could not be more proud of the work that our brothers and sisters in Uganda are carrying out. The most wonderful thing about our work there starts with our people. The people that make up the Pilgrim Africa team are some of the most incredible, authentic, passionate individuals that you could find anywhere in the world. These individuals are also warriors. They are incredibly motivated and impatient in their work to save lives from malaria. And it's this warrior spirit that allows us to do incredible work in places where even the most routine activities can sometimes be beset by obstacles. Our vision is an urgent one. Malaria is on the rise. It is not going down, it is going up. The elimination efforts of malaria worldwide are going to need the approach that Pilgrim brings to this effort, and that is being flexible and innovative and empowering of local communities to take up the fight themselves with support from us. So $1 contributed to Pilgrim goes directly to an incredible range of programs that save lives. Because we are focused exclusively on that, we are both flexible and innovative as it relates to how we get that work done. An investment in Pilgrim really is an investment in life. So we're incredibly proud, and this is the moment for us to come together and invest together. And the time is now. COVID is making this more urgent than it has ever been.
Hello, I'm Calvin Achodu. I'm a founder and a board member of Pilgrim Africa. I'm glad that you are joining us for Jasiri 2020. Pilgrim's programs and interventions are designed to meet the needs of the people. So our Pilgrim's development or evolve dependent on the needs that were on the ground. Pilgrim is an evolving organization because the needs and the situation, circumstances of the population change. I think Pilgrim has been very alert and aware of the evolving changes in the community and what the community needs at a particular time, at a particular moment, to make sure that they have hope, they are empowered, and they move forward as things evolve. So that's how it moved from a relief agency to education, because that was a need, and now to public health, because that's also a major issue. We have educated and supported over 5,000 kids from S1 to university.
We have done key interventions in our district of Katakwi and Kumi. That's a population of over 280,000 people benefited from our malaria program. But now we are doing an evaluation on the malaria intervention in the whole country. So our impact to the communities and the people of Uganda is increasing. But at first we started, of course, small. But it has been progressively growing, the people that are getting impacted by interventions. Jasiri started about 10 years ago. So it's an annual event which brings together experts, leaders, businessmen who are interested in supporting and developing communities. It has been going for almost 10 years. I think this one is special this year because the communities are deeply affected by COVID and they need a lot of intervention. So I think it's very important because it brings people together to try to find solutions and a way forward amidst this pandemic. So we are very grateful for all our friends, the bold hearts who are going to join us in this Jasiri. It's a special one.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Saul Spady and I'm the executive producer of Pilgrim Africa's Jasiri 2020. I do have to say that I'm extremely excited that all of you are tuning in from many places around the world, and we get to welcome in our friends in Kampala, our friends in Seattle, our friends in Boston and New York. I am in fact traveling around the East Coast right now doing outdoor podcasts on climate change, a goal that I honestly might not have been able to throw my mind behind until I met Dorothy and Calvin, because their goal of eradicating malaria in Uganda, of creating a better future for the children in Calvin's home country, is truly audacious, and one, if accomplished, will be the blueprint for eradicating malaria across the entire world. And that's the type of organization Pilgrim Africa is. Not only do they start a school for orphans, but they start a best-in-class in the world robotics program. And that really is the power of Pilgrim Africa. And that's the power of creating incredible change, big dreams that turn into big realities. It's that they're a small organization supported by all of us with our dollars. Tonight, we need to help the dreams become reality. We are going to see malaria eradicated in our lifetime, but it starts here tonight with the support that we give to Pilgrim Africa. Let's all work together and help them raise the money they need. I look forward to seeing you at the end of, well, I guess the broadcast, Jasiri 2021. Either way, it's gonna be a fun night.
The Kony rebels came and abducted me Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Then the first day, I was forced to kill a man. I was abducted together with the whole family, who were taken deep into the bush.
And were subjected to torture. Were beaten, and I was beaten on my head with a panga. And many children were cut into pieces.
The way my life has been, not all that good.
All my friends died.
I was forced to see blood, to see how they kill people.
I just forget about home, just forget about everything in our place, all my friends, all my parents.
On coming back, they told me to refresh your mind, to bring your mind to civilian life. I was having no hope, and totally, I was seeing my future very dark. I never gave up. but my mind was not all that stable. It was jumping up and down.
It has given me intelligence in my mind. It has helped me to motivate my brain to think a lot. When I sing, I feel joy in my heart. I feel like God is with me. I feel like I have friends.
It's healing my soul from the past. It's healing my soul from the past, and my mind become fresh.
When I'm active, it gives courage.
Even though I was thinking of something which is traumatizing my mind, I just feel like my heart, my heart is full of just joy as I started having a feeling for the future.
We are soldiers, we are children, and we are rebels.
My future is drawing near and closer to me, and I can see it bright.
Jasiri means being determined, moving ahead, having a heart that eager to help. With the support Pilgrim has offered, it is become a bright future.
My really future goal is to work as a software engineer for approximately 10 years. And then I would want to engage in politics of some kind in Uganda. I say that because I see so many, poor individuals suffering with things I don't know, and they need help to get out of that. Maybe I could provide the help in some way. Through Beacon of Hope, many more futures can be opened for other children. If that had not happened years ago, well, clearly I would not be speaking right now. It is important that you be part of a story which has never been told. And you can only be a part of that story if you get yourself into that situation of filling the gap. If you can't really get out of yourself, then you can't really do it.
I love that so much. You can only be a part of a story that has never been told if you put yourself into the situation of filling the gap. And I love that Dinesh, who is studying in the US, wants to return to Uganda to help people in communities. He doesn't want to stay here and retire, but to be able to give back. Well, we have an opportunity to stand in the gap tonight. I want to give a very special shout out to Solomon and Josephine Osia. To join them at $2,500, simply click Raise Your Virtual Paddle for Pilgrim Africa. You'll see all the giving levels there. If you can join us at $50, $1,000, $2,500, again, we just hope that you'll join us at a gift that's meaningful to you. It's all going to add up to a big number, so thank you for joining us.
Hi, my name's Eric Lynn, and I'm a 2-year board member at Pilgrim Africa. What I love about Pilgrim is that the work we do makes a difference in people's lives. I had a chance to go to Uganda in February pre-COVID and see for myself exactly what Pilgrim does and how it affects the lives of those people that it gets involved with. And it's just so heartwarming and such a good feeling to be able to be a part of an organization that genuinely makes a difference in people's lives.
Well, now we have a chance to go to the field and hear about Pilgrim's Malaria program from one of the folks who's living in the community, Stephen Odeki. He'll explain exactly what Pilgrim has been up to control malaria in Katakwi in partnership with Rotary. After that, we'll have a chance to hear from one of the world's best malaria scientists, and then to hear Another of Pilgrim Africa's extraordinary board members, Sean Diamond, explained the origin of his passion for eliminating malaria.
My name is Odeke Stephen, a resident of KKSL, Toroma Town Board in Toroma Sub-County. I benefit from the Pilgrim program in a number of ways. In my area particularly, there was a spraying that was done twice a year. That means beginning from 2016 up to 2018, they sprayed 4 times. The idea with the spraying was to kill what? Malaria parasites. These are mosquitoes that what? Spread malaria. Normally they spray indoors. Those mosquitoes that carry parasites and then they land on these walls, they die. After 2018, there was a distribution of nets. Those are lanes, long-lasting insecticide mosquito-treated what? Nets. That was given to the community. That ended, and then it came 2019 last year, when ICCM and then ProCCM was rolled on. Now, ICCM is Integrated Community Case Management. It handles those ones below 5, actually children. Yes, and then they treat things like malaria in kids. They also work on pneumonia and diarrhea. These kids, they are put in a database. Right now, if VHT working in these cells, knows all these kids. So someone can even come moving around. How are these? They are okay. Immediately tell someone, my daughter is diuretic, they will say, bring her home. Take the other side, you are given ORS, and then they manage. It has even helped to reduce the backload from the facility. Because even small things like diarrhea, they will be pounding the other side, wasting a lot of time. Now it has helped them because they just treat here, give you ORS, and it's managed. Now, ProCCM is proactive community case management. That one they handle both ICCM and then those ones above what? 5 years. But those ones above 5 years, they are only interested in malaria. It has helped us a lot. Imagine in this case where my daughter is sick. Before the project started, everything was managed in the hospital. It means all people would flood the other side to only get it tested, imagine for malaria. Ideally, it has saved the people even that small money of going to meet these other bills outside the facility. So the project general has helped people. They are giving mosquito nets. By only virtue that you are a resident of Toroma here, you are staying here. Each cell here has a VHT. That manages its people to dot. So even those kids that just fall sick of diarrhea, they are managed. All those ones would have wasted a lot of time being where? At the facility. And maybe even their parents are attending to them half day. Now, certain as they have attended to you, you continue to the garden and do other work. Right now, if you move to the facility there, and then you look at malaria cases now, and then malaria cases in 2016 behind, it is practical. It will tell you how good the thing has helped. So both interventions must have helped the community. I have kids that are playing there. I have a daughter that was delivered in 2016. She finished 2 years before falling sick, anything like malaria. Whenever she gets fever, then you test, there is nothing. There is nothing. After the 2 years when she got malaria for the first time, look at such a big achievement. Yet some kids are even delivered when they have it straight away. So the thing has helped so much. I wish that Pilgrim continues to roll this even for more other areas. If you look at the benefits I've spoken and how it has helped my children, it's actually a good thing and we're embracing it. I am very happy that Pilgrim brought this study to Toroma. It has saved us a lot, and particularly myself and my family.
Hi everyone, Melody Miles coming to you from my home in Nashville, Tennessee. I have worked with Pilgrim Africa for over 7 years, and I wholeheartedly believe in this organization and the work they're doing in Uganda. One of the unique things about Pilgrim Africa is that they truly approach problems with design thinking. And I always think of Pilgrim Africa as pushing the needle and really involve the community in the fight against malaria.
My name is David Smith. I work at the University of Washington in the Department of Health Metric Sciences. Most of the questions that I want to know the answers to have to do with what to do about malaria, how to get rid of it, how to reduce the burden of malaria, how to eventually eliminate it. The problem is that most of rural Uganda has levels of transmission that are as high as any place we've measured anywhere in the world. In a potch, they once measured 1,500 infectious bites per person per year. So that means on average a person is getting roughly 4 or 5 infectious bites per day. The chance to work in Uganda is that it responds to IRS. So if you go in and you spray the interior walls of houses with pesticides, what we see when we deploy it en masse in Uganda is that it does work, and it's very effective at suppressing transmission. We documented this very robust pattern, that if you go all the way to eliminating malaria, it seems to stay away. Malaria elimination is sticky because if you get to elimination, it's like a magnet or something, you stick to it and you don't come off. But we also documented lots of examples on the other side where if you didn't go all the way to malaria elimination, that it came roaring back. It really does undermine health and health delivery in a country in a very systematic way. So if you don't ever get rid of malaria, you're never really going to be able to develop a functioning health system. One that's sort of working at a very high level where people feel good all the time and expect to feel good all the time. I just find it very bizarre that we're not spending what ends up being a very small amount of money to get rid of malaria. It's one of the things that we actually know how to do something about. But right now, we're spending $4 billion, and it's enough to give people nets and do some good, but it's not enough in a place like Uganda to go the last mile. I'd really like to see what would happen if we could raise the budget for malaria and spend more, because I think we could do more. I want to say something to people who are now, maybe for the first time in their lives, living with an infectious disease that they're really scared of, COVID. There are places in the world where that's a daily reality. COVID will go away. It will fade into the background, we'll have a vaccine, and it will be a lot like influenza. People will forget and become apathetic. They'll forget that there are still places in the world that live with that level of risk. I hope that comes through to people, is that they can give a little money and make someone's life better as a society. We need to help our family that lives closer to the equator, because they can't afford to do it for themselves right now.
Hey everyone, thank you for participating in this online virtual Jasiri Gala. You are participating with people from all over the world. We have people tuning in from Africa, from Europe, from the East Coast of the US, and I'm coming to you from a little marina here in Seattle, Washington. The Pilgrim Africa family is big and global and diverse and beautiful, and we're grateful for each and every one of you. My name is Sean Diamond, and I'm on the board of directors at Pilgrim. And I'm also a filmmaker, and I've had the privilege of producing stories for Pilgrim for many years. This is the backstory of a film you're about to see. It was the year 2000, my first time in Uganda. I was working in Sudanese refugee camps along the northern Uganda-Sudanese border. I was deep in the bush, in the back of a pickup truck. I got a friend in the cab. We have a driver, a colleague. We're 10, 12 miles away from the nearest camp, super remote. And as we're driving, I suddenly hear this sound. I had never heard a sound like it before. I had no idea where it was coming from. As we're driving, the sound is getting louder and the hair on my arms is standing up. And we go up this hill, we round this corner, and suddenly there is the source of the sound that has haunted me for the last 20 years. A group of 8 women sitting on the ground, throwing fistfuls of dirt in the air, sobbing, wailing, crying with grief around the body of an 8 or 9-year-old girl who had recently died of malaria. Grief that is distilled from death that is premature or preventable has its own character. And at Pilgrim, we understand that the fight against malaria, the challenge to end malaria, it's technical, it's political, it's economic, but it is also directly connected to the character of that grief. It's connected to the human and spiritual aspirations and prayers and dreams and hopes of real families. This film is simply an attempt to, in some small way, honor that young girl and those 8 women. The film is called Say Her Name.
They compare the everyday death toll to earthquakes and tidal waves, natural tragedies. And because it kills in homes too far away, they say it's a silent disaster, a silent killer. They're wrong. It's not silent. It's the sound of a mother walking 20 miles through the night to the clinic, carrying hope wrapped in a blanket. It's the sound of a hospital ward with 300 patients and 15 beds. It's the sound of a father's voice rising in prayer, begging God for his son's breath to come back. It's the sound of a village gathered around a mother who sits by the freshly dug earth, wailing, pounding the ground with her fists, calling out her daughter's name. Because She couldn't get to the clinic fast enough. She couldn't afford the $2 medicine because most of the dying are not the children of those who make policy or allocate funds, because her hope is now being lowered into the earth. When people in one half of the world are dying and chained to poverty by a disease that the other half ended 50 years ago, then it's not merely a technological problem. It's a human problem. And the solution is not only located in labs and banks and halls of power, but where change has always lived, in the hearts of people with the moral imagination and conviction of our shared resources to challenge despair and to say her name. To say you are worthy, and anything less than protecting the shared humanity that courses through your veins is not worthy of the shared brilliance and talent that we collectively possess. When the deadliest disease in human history is one of the cheapest to end, then it's not just about nets or drugs or science or policy. It's about her and the sound of her name.
Hello, welcome to this special Pilgrim Jasiri event. Because of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, your generosity and support to Pilgrim means a lot. It will help many students go back to school, health programs not to be cancelled. I appeal to you to consider supporting Pilgrim generously in this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. Yes, let's do it. Let's be the solution. Let's challenge despair together tonight. When I'm with you, I'm used to seeing people in my country give, but now we're international, and I am so impressed by how many Ugandans have donated. I'm not sure I've ever been to an event where this has happened. Joseph Ariang, thank you for your donation of $1,000. Dr. Kingi, thank you for your gift of $1,000. You can join right now, too. Simply click Raise Your Virtual Paddle for Pilgrim Africa.
My name is Jeff Avancino, and I've been a Pilgrim board member for just over 3 years. What I love most about Pilgrim is our goal to make the lives better for people of Uganda through the eradication of malaria and through education. I was fortunate enough to visit Uganda this last February before the pandemic with my son, and was just amazed at the community health model that's been developed there by working with locals to help treat and eradicate malaria and other deadly diseases. Please join us in supporting this remarkable organization, and I thank you for being here this evening.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful evening. Please share the link to this program with your friends and family so they can see the work too. Thank you so much for everything you've done with us. God bless you all.